starting on time tonight, which could be problematic for anybody who was planning on us starting on Kensington time. Nevertheless, thank you for being here tonight, for joining us for this tasting. My co-host is Harmony, and we've got a fun range. One of these is sold out, but I think we have everything else. So that's positive. Just double checking. Just double checking the website. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Oh, we might actually. Do we have? We might have everything. No, we no. One of them is sold out with a footnote to it, which is that we're trying to find out if we can get more. But we'll get to that when we get there. Maybe. Well, you know what? I'm leaving my wheat bag on. I don't care what. I is it fashionable or unfashionable, Harmony?
Well, I think on this recording, grains are good. So we're going to go with it's fashionable.
All right, fashionable. All right, well, I'm gonna leave it on until it gets cold.
Yeah.
Because why not? So Harmony's tossed the link in the chat, or not the link, the order, which is
Okay.
the order of drams, which you should have anyway. We do like to try to email that out ahead of time. While we're waiting for stragglers, because we did start early, nice to see a dozen of you there. And I know this tasting is actually oversold, so that's good. Uh, It's probably a little late if you're outside of Calgary to get these, but want to do another virtual tasting tomorrow night with Harmony and Evan. There's a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society outturn, so that's coming up. For all the ladies in your life in the Calgary area, we have the Lassies Only Whiskey Festival coming up on Thursday night. Proceeds to a local women's shelter. The in-town outturn tastings, there's a couple of spots left for each. What else have we got here? Single Cask Nation, we're down to the last couple of spots for our Williamson cast launch with Joshua Hatton. And spoiler alert, we're going to have some more single cask nation whiskeys to tell you about tomorrow because it seems like PWS's orders arrived only weeks apart, but that's not so bad. Scrolling down past the things that are sold out, Harmony's Luck of the Irish tasting in store on the 20th because we're doing a virtual tasting on the 17th, but that's coming up. The Cairn tasting, I just did tasting notes for the first four whiskeys today. I think three of them are on the website. I started with the young ones, and then I'll get into the older ones. And man, I mean, the vision's good. The 12 is like a great sherry cask whiskey for the price, but that 18 is
Mhm.
phenomenal. Like it's so good.
It
Um,
smells great.
what's that, Harmony?
It smells great. I didn't try them when I poured it because,
Yeah,
I want to wait, but
it's
it's amazing.
and Serge claims that it's got some Ben Romick in it. So, um, you know how I feel about Ben Romick, but we'll leave it there.
Ben
Uh,
Romick or Glendronach or Ben
no, I
Ray?
think he said it's got Ben Romick in it. The rumor
Oh,
has it
we
that they
like
used some Ben
that.
Romick. Finishing school is coming up for Harmony.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Graduation. Black Tot with Mitch. Uh, if you're not into rum, I still would encourage you to check this out. These are probably the most interesting rums out there. Some of them, they're blended rums. They're quite complex. They're using a perpetual system that allows them to keep building on the rum each batch after the next. We've been through, I think, four different vintages already, except for the 2025, which we are going to try. The 21 and then the 50th anniversary, which are now long gone, were all great. But I can't say enough about how interesting these rums are. Even if you don't think you like rums, if you're into single malts, you'll dig them. If you didn't catch our Daft Mill tasting in store last or virtually last week, you can do it in store with Harmony in April. So that's down the pipeline. There's our Cavalan 20th anniversary tasting coming up. Master of Malt, which we're going to have to tweak the lineup slightly because it seems that 16-year-old isn't coming for another month. But
Mhm.
and I don't know that we want to wait. Harmony and I will discuss that and we'll go from there. But everything else is here. There's a Kilholman tasting with James and I, and then tomorrow we're going to drop a rare and old tasting. Um, and a few other things in Ardnamurchan tasting. There's a few other things that we have to sprinkle out. So I think that bought enough time for five more people to join us, Harmony. So I think we're ready to roll.
Yeah, I guess they really do rely on that buffer.
They do.
Um,
I mean, I think they assume we start at 5 minutes after, which is
Still technically true.
pretty close to on par. I mean, fortunately, I don't think we often start later than 5 minutes after. So
Right.
fashionably
Some
late.
people in Toronto with the later bedtime are disagreeing slightly, just slightly.
Right.
Um,
Well,
but we could get started right
we should.
now.
We should get
Yeah.
started. So we are going to get started with uh, Glen Keith, 21-year-old. So the way this tasting came about 6, 7 months ago, I was offered some backstock from Berry Brothers of things that they'd had for a while. Maybe they got lost in the warehouse. They weren't really sure what to do with. And they offered pretty competitive pricing on a lot of these. So we jumped on them. And this Glen Keith 21-year-old is a pretty good example of that. Not easy to find a 21-year-old single malt, uh, let alone from a on and off closed distillery, currently open, probably soon to close again. Um, and we jumped at them. And you'll see that with a few of the whiskeys in tonight's range. I think four of them fall into that category, and then three of them were new, and they were new and kind of exciting or enticing for various reasons. So we jumped on them. And yeah, this Glen Keith 21-year-old, I've always been a fan of Glen Keith, especially from refill casks, whether they be refill bourbon or refill sherry, especially once they're like over 20 years of age, because they get very tropical. Glen Keith, I find, often has this nice waxiness to it. It's not a particularly old distillery. Was built in the 1960s. My memory is to augment Strathisla because they couldn't expand Strathisla. If you've ever been there, it's a beautiful old stone building. It's got this picturesque little water wheel out front. Uh, the building's 2 centuries old. They're not about to, gut that to modernize it and put up something big and gaudy, thankfully. I mean, there's been a fair bit of that over the years in the Scotch whiskey industry, Macallan. Um, although maybe that original distillery wasn't all that beautiful, but still, you take my point. Uh, and so they built Glen Keith to augment it. But as the whiskey industry went through its cycles, they shut Glen Keith down, I believe, in about 2000. And it wasn't opened up again until the 2010s. And the reason they shut it down was that they felt they had too much stock, too much production. Uh, so I think I kind of cheekily somewhere refer to it as the once and soon to be closed again distillery. Uh, Once closed and soon to be closed again. Probably. Just playing the odds. If you didn't see the news this week, Bowmore's laying off a whole bunch of their Bowmore and Lefroy are laying off a whole bunch of their production staff. So
Yeah, it's really
um
sad.
yeah, it is sad. But I do hope they keep overpaying for brand collaborations and vanity luxury products that no one wants or cares about. So
Well, you
cough,
gotta make
Aston Martin.
sacrifices. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm digging this right off the bat on the nose. It is really waxy. There's this nice icing sugar note to it. Uh, and it is kind of tropical. It's sort of pineapple and mango, maybe a bit of kiwi. What are you getting, Harmony?
I'm getting like raw pizza dough.
Oh.
And yeah, there's some creaminess there, maltiness. I'm getting like a little bit of that icing, but I'm also getting some like honeydew, um,
Mhm.
melon, like rinds, especially. I knew you were going to say tropical.
Yeah.
But there's like a little funkiness, a little like I said, like wet dough, kind of very like raw and like spirit driven.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a funk to it, but yeah,
Mhm.
this to me, it's tropical fruit and waxy. When it was opened up in the 1950s, it was opened up because they needed more production for Chivas blend called Passport and another one called 100 Pipers. And they just didn't have enough production at Strathisla to supply all those. So they opened it, closed it in 99, reopened it in 2013. And there was for a while an old 10-year-old, which I don't know if you've ever seen in Harmony, but it was kind of a weird looking bottle. It was almost square. Like it looked like a liqueur or something, Glen Keith 10-year-old. And despite the fact the distillery closed in 99, I mean, they were bottling this well into the 2010s, but not always available in our market.
Yeah. The palate is definitely fruity. Like having tasted it, I see where that tropical note and kind of icing sugars come from.
Mhm.
Um, it's
Yeah.
very cool. I'm surprised at how vibrant this is.
So and we opened this when we got it in because we were
Hmm.
curious. I could have sworn I wrote a tasting note for this, but it doesn't look like I did. Um, I think it's gotten better over
Hmm.
the month to 6 weeks since we got it in and first opened it. It's still a little tight on the palate. The flavors that are there are lovely. Again, it's that icing sugar, the tropical fruit, that waxy tone. It's not really expressive. It's kind of tightly wound, but it's
Hmm.
very pretty for what's there.
It is. Yeah. It's nice to visit these bottles with some, which is like that resting period, that bottle aging that
Hmm.
happens to it. I know it's not going to affect every whiskey the same way. Some will change over time and some will never change.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. But I mean, these refill cask whiskeys, the
yeah.
ones where the oak is not as dominant, they're the
Hmm.
ones that seem to benefit the most from that OBE or that old bottle effect, where those oxidative reactions happen in the bottle very slowly over time. So, going back to this was from 1995. It's 21 years old. So, at most, it was maybe bottled in maybe 2006 or 2007, or sorry, 2020, no, 2016 or 2017. So, it's been in glass now nearly 8 years, if my math
Hmm.
is correct. No, no, no. What am I talking about? It's 9 to 10 years.
Yeah.
9 to 10 years in glass.
Yeah.
So, it's had a lot of time for that oxidation to happen in bottle. It doesn't, I mean, we're not suggesting by any stretch that you should take bottles home and put them on the shelf and
Mhm.
like your
Never
wines,
do that.
magically improve and get better. But there is a slow change that happens over time. And I think this Glen Keith is an example of something that does
Mhm.
do well with that. And there's
Yeah.
been other whiskeys I know that we've had even in the store
Our
in the
boutique
last couple of years.
Clynelish.
Yeah. 5 years,
That's getting better and better.
3 or 4 years into the bottle now, it's way better than it was when we first got it. So
Yeah.
magical things can happen with time, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of this left. I think we received about 30 bottles of it, if my memory is correct. And I think we're down to, let's say, less than a dozen, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's not going to stick around for long. It, maybe isn't a screaming deal, but relative to, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find another Glen Keith right now at a better price. Just because the distilleries not, they weren't producing for the last, well, from 1999 until 2013. And what production they do have, again, goes back to blends. So,
Mm.
oh
Yeah.
03, oh
Yeah.
03.
Grateful for it today. It's lovely.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this on the site to just confirm how much of it we do have left. But yeah, pretty. Anyway, so that's the Glen Keith. Nice starting dram, nice and soft. We shall now move on to the Glenburgie, which is another kind of favorite distillery of mine, sort of lesser known. Like the Glen Keith, this is in the old school Berry Brothers packaging. So here we go, 29 years old, 1989. So this would have been bottled 2018. Does that ring a bell? Does that sound about right? Yeah, it says 2018 on the bottle there. Refill sherry butt, 46%, 29 years old. And even this, sorry, I didn't mean to take that down quite so quickly if people were having a look at it. Even this seems like it's gotten better since we first opened it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's got this nice kind of like, I don't know, sweet, sweet and dark fruits and chocolate going on.
Well, on honeycomb,
Yeah.
I I might have even been tempted to think that this was Clynelish, just based on the nose. It's maybe not quite as floral, but yeah, there's this nice, slightly waxy honeycomb profile to it. If I was a betting man, I'd say this has got to be American oak, an
Mm.
American oak sherry, refill sherry hogshead, because it's got that nice, soft vanilla base to it,
Mm.
like white cake, maybe without the icing sugar.
Wow. That palette is nice. Very fruity. Mm. It's funny how to me it
Mm,
feels like acidic and dry at the same time.
mm.
But you do get some nice soft tannins.
Lots of melon fruit, applesauce, bizarrely of all things, which is not a tasting note I throw out very often. Um, it's somewhat like our 21-year-old Gord MacPhail Glenburgie, but not quite. I mean, that one's going really tropical and is just dripping with honey. Like it's really decadent. This seems a little bit more subdued.
Hmm. Getting like cinnamon and ginger spices
Yeah, the
on the
spices
finish.
really pick up. That
Hmm.
second sip,
Yeah.
nice spices, decadent, moving into a bit of chocolate and leather too. Like those sherry tones really starting to develop on the second sip, but really subtle, really soft. And it's a very clean sherry profile too. Like there's no
Hmm.
off notes or rough edges to it. Bit of candied nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice like milk chocolate for me, like on the finish. It connects
Mhm.
from the nose to the palate.
I have a friend in town here who's a chocolatier.
Mm.
I emphasize the Shaw because his name is Shaw, Ian Shaw, and his chocolate is Shawzy Chocolat. And he makes it with oat milk. It's oat milk chocolate, and he's got incredible Instagram videos. He's always around town with these like he's also a model on the side, so he's kind of a local celebrity dude, but he's always got these like I don't know, road bike racer sunglasses on when he's doing his
Oh yeah.
videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But check out his chocolate. If you're into oat milk and chocolate, they're around town. But this reminds me more of his oat milk than it does like regular chocolate. But another nice one, light, easy drinking, dangerously easy drinking.
Hmm.
Um, and it's starting to get a little fruitier on the palate, like some nice candy apple notes there too. This one to me is not going into those tropical tones, but it's still very, very lovely, very drinkable.
It is.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Checking to see how much of this we have left. And actually, that Glen Keith, I think we had more of it. I think that was a bigger outturn. I think this is the one where we didn't get very much of it.
I think we only have like four of these left.
Oh, it's worse than that, Harmy. There's only three.
Oh, I knew
So,
that. I thought maybe I didn't reach to the back and pull it forward. I can see three,
no.
but I often just can't reach to the
Yeah.
back. But three, that's dangerous.
Yeah. Also pretty. Okay. The
Mhm.
next one is kind of confusing for a couple of reasons. Mainly because we had this several years ago, and then we were offered a sister cask of it, which we leapt at because we felt it was even better than this one. And then after were nearly sold through the sister cask, they're like, "Hey, we found more of that first one. Do you want it?" Now, if you're not confused, this is the Barry's Blended Malt 1999 Cask One. Now, if you're sharp of mind, you might recall that we bottled, I believe, was it cask number three was our store exclusive? Does that ring a bell, Harmony?
Three?
Cask number
Yeah.
three,
Yeah, yeah.
898419.
Yes.
So these are a mystery blended. No, we had cask four.
Okay. I don't like to, you're usually right about these things. So,
Yeah, we had cask four. So I found
but that
it.
means they have two more to find for us. Um,
Possibly, or they've gone to other markets and we'll never ever see them again. Um, so yeah, this is, and let me put it back up there. I took it down because I was scrolling through different parts of the back end of our website. Uh, this is the one we had originally. We were offered it at a better price than we'd had previously. It was originally 285, so that's why we put it on sale just to reflect that it was a better price. And what we really loved about the Kensington cask was, well, especially what I loved was how chocolatey it was. It was the soft milk chocolate. It was very tropical and very reminiscent of Highland Park in style. Now, when we had this one in, we knew that these whiskeys were almost certainly from the Edrington group. So Macallan, Highland Park, Glenturret, Tamdhu, Glengoyne, various different distilleries that would have been owned by the Edrington group at the time this was produced. I'm not sure that we picked this one out as being Highland Park-esque. It was more kind of just that generic sherried Edrington blended malt stock profile. But we're going to come back to this with a little bit of fresh eyes because it's been a while since we've had this. And it does seem a kind of chocolatey, maybe not quite as creamy milk chocolate as the KWM cask, but not far off. What are you getting, Harmony?
like it's definitely like a darker, bitter chocolate. It's a
Hmm.
little dusty, still rich with those chocolate notes, a little nutty.
It is definitely nutty. Caramel, chocolate
Yeah.
turtles.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, maybe just like a little bit of smoke in there.
There is some smoke, yeah.
But it seems like there's some nice exotic fruits kind of creeping in underneath those chocolate tones and that soft sherry. So let's give it a taste.
Oh, it's smoky on the palate. Oh,
Oh, wow.
it's cool.
That is a lot smokier than I thought it would, than I recall on the palate. It might even have more peat than the KWM cast number four. I'd really
Oh, it definitely does
have
have
to
more
try
peat.
these side by side now. But it's got like to me like a Mexican hot chocolate note there. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of spicy. It also reminds me, I threw this note out there. I was down in Puerto Vallarta area with my parents a few weeks back. And I didn't know this, but in Mexico, they make marzipan with peanuts, not with almonds. And I had a marzipan milkshake, and it was like so good. It made me think of sort of like a somewhere between a peanut butter parfait and a blizzard, like
Ooh,
a kind of a peanutty blizzard. And it was so good. But I get that note on this too, this like marzipan milkshake.
cool. Igor says ash and bacon, but all drowned in chocolate.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does seem a little more medicinal, that smoke on the palate, than the KWM one did. I mean, I have to imagine that this liquid was probably the same liquid, vatted together, put back into casks for marrying, because
Mm.
I suppose like it would make sense to talk about the origin of this stuff. Like, why is it being sold as blended malt? Why is it in casks? Why do we know it comes from the Edrington group? Or how? How do we know it comes from the
Yeah, how do
Edrington
we?
group? Well, I mean, a lot of the time we know because the companies that are selling it to us are like, well, we got it from the Edrington group. Like they can't tell you, they can't put it on paper, they can't put it on their website, but it's kind
Right.
of this unspoken thing. But one of the keys is that you look at distilleries like Macallan, they do something called a marrying period. When they create a bottling of, say, they're 12, they're 15, they're 18, double oak, triple oak, whatever the series happens to be, they put it back into cask to marry for several months before they bottle it. And the idea there is that the spirit kind of becomes more cohesive and more tied together than if you just stir it in a vat and then pump it into a bottle. with these blended malts, very likely these are things that they were pre-vatting and then putting back into casks because they were going to become part of various blends in their portfolio, whether they be Famous Grouse, um, I suppose Cutty Sark after they reacquired it from or they acquired it from Berry Brothers and Rudd. We don't really know, but the other reason they would be doing this blending is so that they can trade off the stock with other people, and they can't call it Highland Park, they can't call it Macallan. It's just a vatting of different malts from the Edrington portfolio that has a nice profile that people might want to work with as blending. I don't think when they traded these off, they ever thought that independent ballers like Berry Brothers and Rudd or Elixir Distillers or others would be buying it to sell as a blended malt. And I'm glad they didn't think that because maybe they wouldn't have traded them off. Because
Mm.
this is just again, like how often can you buy a gorgeous sherried, slightly peated, tropical Scotch whiskey that's 24 years
Mhm.
old for $200 and change, effectively.
Right. This is what you want to give your friend who smokes cigars with his whiskey, but it's a no smoking zone.
Hmm.
It may just make them want to smoke even more, but
Because you don't want to mess up
smoking
with
in
the
the house,
palate.
maybe. Mm.
Okay.
Or you're out of cigars. They're all dried up.
Well, because Chris Walker's video is on, we can't tell if he's currently smoking a cigar while
I
enjoying the
think
whiskey
he
tasting.
would be camera on if he was.
Because that adds mystique.
It- yeah.
Well, anyway, I love these mystery blended malts, blends. The origin is similar to the Walter's Choice release we did. Uh, it's an opportunity to have something that tastes great, that's good value, and if you can suspend like caring about where it's from, knowing who made it, the prestige of drinking X brand, there's such good value. And I think that's what I love about these mysterious blended malts and blends. We did get a good chunk of these. They are on sale for now. I'm probably going to take them off sale at the end of the month, and then we'll probably just put them back on sale when we have sales periodically. But we kind of wanted to be transparent about it when we brought it back in. We got a better deal on it than it was when we originally had it, and we like to pass that on to people. So that's a that's a pretty tasty whiskey, and shouldn't last long, but you never know.
Yeah,
It
it's
does,
good.
it does have that dreaded B word on it, which I know is triggering for some people.
I
Uh,
can scratch that off with like a really thick Sharpie if you want before delivery. Let me know.
I'm not sure Customs and Excise Canada would be cool with that, so
What if I put a
it's a good
sticky on?
idea. And they're already hot and bothered about Bridgeland Distillery, so
Let's not go there.
let's not give them another reason. Incidentally, if you want to help out a local craft distillery who's being screwed over by someone getting uber technical with regulations, please support Bridgeland. They're having a bad month, and it's only 3 days old. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they are.
great little distillery. Okay, Sutherland. What the hell is a Sutherland? Caithness and Sutherland is a big swath of northern Scotland, including um, what's it called? The town of Brora, where the Clynelish distillery is located. Golspie is another beautiful little town there. Um, and it's called this because this used to be the lands, or it still is technically the lands of the Duke of Sutherland. The first Duke of Sutherland was a real, well, I won't say the word. I guess this is 18 plus. He was in a bad sense a cunt. Like he was, to use the British parlance, he was a bad man. He was very cruel to the tenants who lived on his land. My ancestors found their way to Canada directly as a result of him. Uh, Admittedly, we probably had better lives when we got here, but we weren't given choice, and there was no guarantees our lives would get better when we got here. But he founded the Clynelish distillery, and so that's why there's that association with Sutherland. So what's cool about this is that this is 24-year-old um, Highland single malt from the Clynelish distillery that can't be called Clynelish. And going back to Harmony's comment earlier about our boutique 20-year-old, which we both feel is drinking a lot better than it was. This very likely is from the same stock. It's probably the same parcel of stock as that boutique 20-year-old. And I'm going to put this up on screen
Interesting.
here because it's been a while since I've made reference to the monument urination or monument desecration bottle that is the boutique
You're
20-year-old KWM Clynelish. We started calling it Clynelish because people just weren't getting it. But my friend Sam and I are up on Ben Bragg, urinating on the Duke of Sutherland's monument, as is tradition, sheep in the valley floor below, a ship on the way to Canada. And before Harmony joined our team, just before actually, some of the KWM staff in a balloon lit by a wax candle because, Clynelish. Um,
hint, hint.
hint, hint. Oh no, the cat-shaped cloud. I didn't point that out
Yeah.
before we left. There's a few little nuggets in there, including Keith's arm. Keith was this buff guy who used to work for us. He's a gym rat and he's a coach Skeleton Canada. He was in Whistler coaching the Canadian Olympic team. But he wasn't happy with how skinny his arm looked. And I used that moment to actually have them Bugs Bunny his arm. So that rather than giving him a bicep, they actually gave him one of those like, drain pipe arms, which was kind of fun. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same parcel of stock traded off probably in the early 2000s because Clynelish was not in vogue yet. Its day was yet to come, although its day may have already passed because they're planning to close the visitor center, which was something that came out a couple weeks back. It
Mm.
is admittedly a long ways up. Like it's almost an hour past Inverness. It's a beautiful drive, and the town of Brora is stunning. Like it's nice to venture up to that part of Scotland. But I imagine if this was traded off because they wouldn't have traded this off after the 2010s. Like demand was going up. This is older stock. This is stock that might have gone into Johnny Walker Gold Label. But
Mm.
what do we know about it? We know that Barry Brothers bottled it, obviously. It's from 2000. It's 24 years old. Um,
These
was
quarter
initially matured in a
casks.
hogshead. Was that Harmony?
Did I recall this saying something about quarter casks?
Yes.
Is
Finished in a
that
quarter cask.
like
Um, but
from an
again,
ex-distillery?
they can't call it Clynelish, but even their own tasting note says occasionally we come across a whiskey we'd love to wax lyrical about, but unfortunately we can't disclose its origin. While we might not be able to let the proverbial cat out of the bag, we couldn't pass up on the opportunity to bottle it. So there you have it. Some
Mm.
not so subtle nods that this is, in fact, Clynelish, because again, that waxy note and the wild Highland cat that
Is this
typifies the distillery.
is this peated?
Well, I don't know. Let me get my nose in there. I'm not
Would
even
that be
there.
something they do, or would that be possibly like the quarter cask?
I would actually say the more likely answer is that it's probably the quarter cask, that's that barrel char note coming through.
Hmm.
Because to me, it's floral, it's honeyed,
Yes.
it's a little waxy. There's a kind of a putty, like a wet putty, wet
Totally.
Play-Doh note to it. Like our Clynelish from Boutique, it's not like over the top waxy and decadent. It's slightly more farmy than that. But yeah, I'm not getting any peat on the nose, but I could see like a bit of barrel char on there.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
Um,
quite waxy on the palate. But interestingly, like our boutique one, it is very farmy. And I don't find Clynelish is often uber farmy. Um, but this is probably from a similar parcel of casks. Now, one of the things we kind of were um, speculating about with the boutique one about why it maybe wasn't quite as waxy as we were expecting is relating back to that time, Harmony. I'm sure you remember the story of when Clynelish lost its waxiness and they couldn't figure out why. And the story is an interesting one because the distillery is associated with that lovely waxy profile. And all of a sudden, one day it was gone in the spirit and they were starting to panic. Um, After about a year, it came back. They did a lot of digging into it. And what they determined actually was that it had to do with what's called the spirits receiver. It's where the spirits go when you make your final cut from your second distillation. You put this into this big tank, and then it stays in that tank until it gets bottled. So it'll get transferred to the bottling hall and then gets put into cask. So you've essentially got this stainless steel receiver full of spirit just hanging around in there. Well, they determined that what had caused this was uh, over time, a residue built up in the spirits receiver tank because they didn't clean or rinse it. And that residue was lending the spirit this waxy profile. Uh, it seems one season when they'd shut for rent or like refurbishment, um, annual maintenance, they had been overly diligent in cleaning the spirits receiver. And by doing this, they had inadvertently altered the spirit. And it took time for this to build up. And whether it's something to do with the local water supply or who knows what, something from this distillation process was building up in the tank. And that's what was giving the spirit this waxy profile. The technical term here being, of course, gunk in the trunk. When they lost the gunk in the trunk, it just wasn't quite as waxy anymore. And
Mhm.
one of my thoughts was maybe that parcel they sold off was of this not waxy enough Clynelish that they didn't feel represented. The single malt was not really appropriate to bottle as Clynelish, so it could get used in
Oh,
blends, and they'd be happy to trade it off at that point, but not in a way that would allow people to call it Clynelish.
right. Wow,
But this does buck the
that's
trend, it is a
true.
little waxier.
I agree. I think it does carry a little bit more weight to it
Mhm.
than our other. And on the nose is a lot going on. It's kind of hard for me to pinpoint. The palate, though, for me initially was like smoked jalapenos and green peppers.
I didn't see
It
the
just had
smoke.
this like vegetal note coming through, but there is quite a lot of like still honey and like
Mhm.
red fruit coming through. But everything's kind of dusty and smoky to me.
Yeah. Your smoked jalapeno is a good one. I would say it's like more like a smoked poblano pepper, but very similar. It's definitely got that kind of green vegetal
Yeah.
roasted note to it, and I think it works very well. It's quite
Yes.
soft on the palate, a bit nutty, almost like a little honey nut Cheerios vibe on the finish. Um, but yeah, only three of these left, I should add. Um, so if you like this, if you like the idea of a 24-year-old uh, Clynelish, don't wait, run. There's only three left. First come, first serve.
Hmm.
Uh, are we ready to keep moving, Harmony? Keep the show
Yeah,
on the
I
road.
think so.
All right, we're off to Glentauchers, which, along with Glenburgie, is one of the three distilleries that form the Ballantyne's triumvirate. The distilleries that are the anchor points of the Ballantyne's blend. This is a 2009 14-year-old Glentauchers. We got a great price on this. It's not on sale because we never had it. We just put it off at a fair price. So $124 for 14-year-old sherry butt matured Glentauchers. But approach it with care. It is 63.7%. So it's a little bit punchy. But interestingly, I'm
Ooh,
not getting that on the nose. There's no sharp
no,
edges to it. There's no heat from it on the nose. It is
totally
very
juicy.
approachable. like candied fruit, a little bit
It's
of
on the palate. Hey, Suzanne.
what's that, Harmony?
Suzanne just did an extra whew after drinking that one. So
Lit her mouth on fire.
yeah, it's got some flavor.
I mean, the more you dig into it, you can get some of those spirity edges to it. But for me, really bright citrus, a bit of a eat more candy bar vibe to it, and some nice kind of jelly belly, gelatinous kind of jelly bean candy notes.
Cool. It's very floral. I agree with Tom. He says he's getting some perfumey smells. He says other things, but
Maybe a bit of lemongrass.
there is actually some lemongrass here, which is nice. And it's funny enough to me when I nosed this for the first time, my initial thought was like, this is creamy. And like I know there's a difference between creamy and waxiness, but compared to the previous one, the nose on this felt like richer and rounder and more creamy.
That is a um uh I don't know if Harvey, if you've ever listened to it. There's a podcast by these two English blokes, one of whom is Camilla's son, Queen Consort Camilla's son. And uh this is what he would call a waker upper. It's the kind of thing you'd have beside your bed and you'd have a glass of to wake you up first thing in the morning. I mean, it's kind of like the best tasting mouthwash you've ever had. Like the way it kind of just hits your mouth all at
So
once.
it does, it kind of even has that like wah of clean,
Yeah,
like you're so sanitized.
yeah.
Nothing can live in here. But
I'm trying to figure out what the name of that podcast is. I mean,
the news agents,
no, it's not.
oh, he appeared on that. I'm Googling it.
Yeah, it's Tom Parker Bowles is his name.
Hmm.
I'll Google it here.
Very cool. Um,
Podcast. And it
have
was
this,
sponsored by Taylor's Port for a while. Intoxicating History. That's what it's called.
okay.
Some of
Yeah.
their stories are very good. Others are just kind of like they take too long to get to it. But the best parts are just these two guys recounting drinking exploits that they have done personally, which is really the only reason I enjoy listening to it,
Hmm.
other than the odd factoid. Going back and approaching this, it's like a spice box on the nose,
Mm.
like going into a baker's spice pantry, like if there is such a
I
thing,
see.
like decadent spices
Hmm.
galore.
Yeah. Still tons of chocolate, nutmegs, cloves.
A little bit of potpourri. So maybe that's that floral note that Tom
Yeah.
was talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I like this. I didn't realize that we had this opened. I just discovered it sitting on the table or on the tasting bar, and somebody was like, I want something at this price point. And I didn't even look at the ABV until he made a face and was like, what did you give me? It was like 11:30 in the morning.
Oh,
So yeah,
well, hey, but
wake
then
he was
again,
awake,
but it's a
but
waker upper harmony. It
it
fulfilled its
smells
purpose.
it
So,
smells good.
you know
Right.
what? I'm going to add a drop of water to it just to
I
see
was
what
gonna,
happens, just for
you know,
science.
the last two whiskeys, like this and the previous one, they kind of have like they remind me a little bit of like agave spirits or mezcals in a way. And I'm not trying to talk down the whiskeys at all,
Hmm.
but it's just where they're taking me tonight.
Oh, maybe it's just not a good night for Harmony's palate.
Maybe.
The nose is kind of killed off by water. Like water seems to have really knocked it back.
Water really hurt the Clynelish. Don't do it.
Oh, I didn't add water to any of the others.
I did just for fun because I was not sure about them. But now it just smells like barbecued hot dogs. So
It it pulls the heat back on it, but I'm not sure I like it better. I think I liked it better without water. I liked it better au naturel. So not au naturel, but
I
au
think it's
naturel.
more chocolatey with water.
Yeah.
Yeah, way
It
more.
it's it's a little softer, but again, I think I like the flavor profile of it all on its own. Well, Chris Walker commenting that it's only $1.96 per percentage of alcohol. So that's a stat we've not had pulled up before. That's a good stat, Chris. Well done. I mean, that's thankfully how the government is going to go back to taxing wine now after 10 months of the industry complaining at them for putting a sales tax on wine in Alberta, which many of you may not even known that it happened, but it did. But we've shamed them into doing it. We won't get into the budget deficit though, because that's a sore spot for a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, yeah, that's how liquor's taxed in Alberta is by weight of pure alcohol or by content of pure alcohol, regardless of whether it's beer, wine, spirits, what have you. And the taxes go up at various thresholds with the percentage of pure alcohol in each beverage, which I think is the only fair way to do it. So, but I suppose there's other fair ways. I think it's the most fair way. Harmony, are you ready for something not Scottish?
Yes, very much, especially because the color of this scares me a little.
Mm-hmm. The color, you know what? I was a little anxious about this one, so we only brought in 2 cases of it, which I now regret.
Yeah.
Because we could have easily sold 3 of them. But the hesitation was that this is a $850 9-year-old Japanese whiskey. That was the hesitation at the time. It's from the famous Chichibu distillery, founded by Ichiro Akuto. This is Chichibu number one. And the other reason this gave us some pause, and if you've been coming to our tastings for a while, you'll know why. It's a wine cask. We are not generally wine cask fans here at Kensington Wine Market. Now, I suppose the caveat to that is that we're not never wine cask people. We're more rarely wine cask people. Think that's a fair assessment, Harmony?
I would say I am the more of a fan of wine casks than the rest of the general population of Kensington.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, there's been some horrible ones.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, I mean, in my experience, the challenge with these wine casks is that they're probably wet filled. There's probably still wine in them. Possibly, so the reason why that's bad, and it's the same of sherry casks. If you're leaving that liquid sherry in the cask and then just filling spirit in, uh, it just doesn't work right. Like the
yeah,
cask is seasoned by the wine or bourbon or other spirits. You don't want to leave the actual wine in there because it just it makes it more acidic, less pleasant. Sometimes the wine spoils, goes bad. So
yeah,
the cask just has this rancid profile.
yeah.
So the reason I was hesitant to bring in more than 6 bottles of this was that it was a $850 9-year-old uh,
Pinot
New
Noir,
Zealand, yeah, New Zealand Pinot Noir cask. None of
right?
this seemed like a good idea to me at the time. So,
The thing that should have swayed you though was the distillery because they generally don't
yeah, I
bottle
mean,
swill,
well, that Harmony, it's a fair point. I mean, Ichiro Okudo, who owns Chichibu and Chichibu 2, he's now building a grain distillery on Hokkaido, which is kind of cool. He is probably one of the top 10 whiskey makers in the world. I've been to Chichibu several times in Japan, twice. I shouldn't say several, I've been twice. I've wandered around the first time in slippers, the second time in Crocs because they'd upgraded. It's immaculately clean. He ferments in Mizunara oak washbacks because he believes that fermentation is the most important step in the whiskey making process. And I actually agree with him on that. The reason he likes Mizunara is that Mizunara is a very porous wood. So bacteria and yeast live in the wood. Even if they clean it, they steam clean it, they can't fully remove it. So you get almost a bit of a sour mash effect in that there's always this residual bacteria and yeast living in these wooden washbacks that help to kickstart the fermentation process. He does long fermentations very slow, very small priced, precise distillations, and then fills things into good quality wood. He's a very good distiller, but my biases against wine casks and $850 10-year-old, 9, 10-year-old whiskeys got in the way
Yeah.
of me. I, I,
Like,
I I
like you're
was
not
anxious about
paying.
bringing in 6 bottles of this.
Yeah. How do you even justify that when you have people are like, I have the most expensive sherry barrel that was available at at the buyer for $4,000 a barrel. And you're like, here, I bought this $250 Pinot Noir from New Zealand and we're going to sell it. But like,
Yeah.
what costs are you making up on Pinot
hmm
Noir barrels?
hmm Yeah. Someone said, never mind the color, the ABV. Yeah, I suppose that's the other thing um, to mention about this too, 65.2%. So Japan, much like Canada and or well, Alberta and Kentucky, um, well, I suppose Japan we shouldn't generalize because there's different climates there. But near Tokyo, where in the town of Chichibu, I suppose it's really more city, the small city of Chichibu, where the Chiro's distilleries are, the alcohol goes up over time in cask. So
Mhm.
it's very dry, not so humid. They lose more water than they do alcohol to evaporation, so it goes up. So yes, this is a higher ABV whiskey too, but instinctively, right on the nose, like I don't find it hot. I don't find it sharp. I don't find it rough. It's very dark and earthy.
Mhm.
There's something that reminds me of like there's a what's it called? There's a chip company. We don't see them anymore, but Crystal used to carry them, and they had these really fancy ketchup chips.
Oh
And
yeah.
it reminds me of those like fancy ketchup chips. But it also reminds me if you've ever decanted a really old bottle of port, it reminds me of the sediment that's left after you decant a really old bottle of port. And it's kind of this muddy, silty sediment. The guys in Portugal claim they spread it on toast
I was
in the
gonna say, I
morning.
think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, you probably
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's this umami mushroomy note. It's a little beefy, which
Hmm.
again is not to be surprised by because this is a wine cast. You're going to expect to get these earthier, meatier notes to it.
I agree with everything. The sip of this gave me instant heartburn.
Mhm.
Like it's like instantly.
You got to have your whiskey tasting Tums ready to go.
I know I needed to take my panto
Yeah.
before we started.
I mean, the palate on this is it's nice. Like this is not
Mhm.
uh I was expecting it to be more tannic, to be I mean, it's leathery, there's tobacco, but you can get that from sherry as well too. It's
Mhm.
earthy, but there's nice berry fruits in there like blackberry, like a blueberry, acai berry. Like there's some nice dark berry fruit notes in there, but it's not what I was expecting. I mean, I probably didn't give the guy enough credit. I just thought that this was going to be this dreadful wine cask at a high
Mhm.
ABV, and it turned out to be a lot better than I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. There's a lot going on in that. That like there's dark fruits, there's chocolate, there's meats, there's
Mhm.
leather, it's a whole lot. Um, it
And
doesn't
there's some
quite
heat.
feel as balanced as I wanted it to. I initially got like chocolate Twizzlers, like very first note on the
Mhm.
nose. Reading some other people's notes, I was preparing myself.
Mhm.
But I think for me, the ABV is just so hot that I'm just distracted by my inner fire that's happening.
Um, Igor said this is a hot mess, and I'm not talking about the ABV. I'm assuming you mean the palate, or maybe it's the chat. Maybe the chat's the hot
Now
mess.
the chat for once is decently
Pretty
quiet.
tame. Pretty
It's
tame.
pretty tame. Yeah, there's nothing going on. Just some harassment of my abbreviations, but I can take it.
Well, maybe they thought you were like treating your heartburn with panko.
Yeah.
Panko breadcrumbs.
And that's what
And
he thought.
that's why we
For
need to be
sure.
specific, Harmony, so people don't jump to conclusions.
No, I like to leave drugs in a
Yeah.
mystery file. Yeah.
I don't think this is a whiskey I could ever have more than a dram of, but it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this I think would be a good like final word. Like we're gonna have one last dram together, and then when it's done, the evening's done. We don't need to say anything more to each other. We all just kind of go our separate ways. But
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to have it too early in the evening either because I think it would be a hard act to follow.
I'm gonna put water in it.
Oh, that
And
seems
I know
dangerous.
that
You know
it
what?
does. I was
I'm
like,
gonna
I don't
try
think
it.
that's gonna help.
I'm gonna try it in the art of science too. You know, if I tasted this blind, I might have guessed that this was Cavalan.
No.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Why?
Because it's not.
Well, I think I'm paying a compliment to Cavalan by that.
I don't think you are.
Oh, I think I am. On the nose, it takes water okay.
Igor and I would like to stand united against you right now. Um,
I'm sticking
oh,
to my guns on
check.
that.
Water
This
doesn't
is like
hurt it.
a, this is, I mean, the closest approximation to this is like a vino, a Cavalan vino to me.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna add more
it's a,
water.
it's a little earthier and a bit more mushroomy than Cavalan vino, but that would be my close approximation to it. So apparently Igor's mad. So respect for that, Igor. This is a safe space. You're welcome to be mad within it. Um, is I lost my train of thought there. I'm not sure what I was going to say about that, but I think it's interesting. Is it my favorite whiskey in the lineup? We won't know until we've done a speed round and then have a vote. But I think it's pretty good, and I think it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I still think the price is outrageous. Um, but part of it is it's a very small release of Chichibu. I'm sure he didn't give them a deal on it because he doesn't need to give them a deal on it because Chichibu can sell everything they make. But it was still kind of fun.
And we sold out, so we did our job. Yay.
We did. And I hope we can get more because we've got at least 3 or 4 people who want a bottle. So
Really?
yeah,
I
so
know
that's
Igor
another
like wants two.
yeah, Igor seems like he's really keen on acquiring this one personally, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Um, if anyone else is interested in acquiring one of those, you can place a pre-order. We don't know if we're going to get it. We will follow up with you if we're told no, you aren't going to get it. But until then, we'll see. And Igor, I can do 7.99 for you. We can make that work.
He's like, no, he meant seven. He forgot to put the decimal.
I don't see it in there. He made an offer. Offer's been accepted.
In
That's
Alberta,
that's the
your word is
way
law.
that's the
Yeah.
way our commercial system works.
So it's been
Uh,
witnessed by the Zoom court.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really has. It really has been witnessed by all. Okay,
Okay,
last
one more.
whiskey. This is the
Undisclosed Isla.
18-year-old
Oh.
undisclosed Islay. Jumped on this one, PX Sherry. It's part of their crafted in cask range. So originally matured in a sherry butt, finished in a PX Sherry cask, bottled at 56%. I think we've been all over the map with which distillery this is. And I believe in this case, Berry Brothers does not know.
Ooh.
Like they have no way of speculating on whether it's Lefroy, Kalila, Ardbeg, Lagavulin. I mean, those are really the only options in this case for the style of the whiskey. It's definitely not Bowmore. I think we can safely rule that out. Uh, when we went through this, when I tasted this, I don't know, did I do a tasting note on this one? I must have done a tasting note on this one. No, I think I must have not put some tasting notes on the website. I'm
I
gonna
was
have to
gonna
look
say, I
into this.
think you wrote them down somewhere.
Maybe they were in a Malt Messenger and I just forgot to actually put them onto the site as well. So I'm gonna look into that. But my recollection on this one was that um, it nosed like I think it nosed like Lagavulin. The mid palate reminded me of Lefroy, but that the finish was Kalila, something like that. So, but we'll see. We're gonna go through it again because I don't have those notes in front of me, so we're gonna have to.
My nose goes against everything I was told, and it smells like with a hint of Lefroy. I don't know. It's that salty, like pepperoni that makes me think Kahlua.
I
But
don't know. The nose to me is kind of
yeah,
Lagavulin-esque.
it is kind of laggy.
Because Lagavulin, I always get more peat than I do smoke.
See, but
And on the
Kahlua,
nose,
I get the salty, wet. It smells cold and rainy and
you're
mineral.
basically
And
you're basically describing everywhere on Isla.
I know, but this is the specific port facing Jura.
Okay? It's the angry deer that you're smelling from Jura wafting across.
I don't know. I'd love to be wrong, but yeah, thank you, Austin. I accept.
Actually,
And
the palate seems more like Ardbeg to me this time around.
you can kind of see that.
It
It's
seems
really
like
good.
it seems like the finish is a little bit more medicinal. It's finishing more like Lefroy.
Mm. So what we're describing are all the distilleries on Isla,
Yeah.
minus the young ones.
All the ones that are peated above 40 ppm all the time
Right.
ish.
Yeah. There's this, yeah, great, like, I agree, David, like chocolate and peanuts.
It's tarry, creosote. Yeah. I mean, moving into the finish, it's quite medicinal to me. Um, it
Mm.
seems more Lefroy-esque than anything else to me. Like once
Hmm.
you get the full impact of the palate, like it's that dirty mop bucket with Dettol in it. Maybe a
Yeah.
red wine spilled on the floor and then mopped up.
Shoot, you could totally, I could buy that as a tasting note, not as a
Mhm.
product I would drink.
Mm.
Um,
It's a future label idea.
that's actually funny.
It's very, very smoky, very salty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is lovely.
If I was a betting man, if the money were down, I would bet Lafrig. That's my final answer on that.
Yeah. Well, after like tasting it a second time, I clearly don't know.
Uh, But that is again pure speculation. Igor says, I think Kalila, Chris Walker Kalila, Austin votes Kalila. David could be Kalila, as there's a hint of peanut on the finish for me.
Igor changes his
Igor
well,
then says whiskey base says Lafroig. Oh, there you go. Um, but I mean, again, that's I think people speculating on what they think it is because there's no actual points.
Mhm.
But yeah, I again, it's an interesting whiskey because the nose, palate, and finish to me all lean in different directions.
Yeah.
And I mean, the end result to me though is that like it just the finish is just too characteristic of Lafroig to be anything else. But that's fun. All right, we ready to speed round this thing, Harmony?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Walter needs a new bone, so I got to go to the garage and cut him a bone section
I was gonna
for.
say, Gabby just picked hers up. It's about to get real noisy in here.
Oh, there you go. Does she toss it around?
Yeah, and then looks at it like she's never seen it before. And it's like, oh my God, a bone.
There you go. Fun. Okay,
Ooh, it's buttery.
it's very buttery.
Easy. Buttered apples.
Saltwater toffee right now on the
Hmm.
nose.
Hmm. Mm. Ooh, wow.
Waxy, floral, tropical.
Very floral chocolate. There's like a little bit of like just a hint of like fizz candy.
Uh, the barley shows up towards the back end on this, which is really remarkable to me. Um, that the barley is still showing at this kind of age.
Mhm.
And after this much time in the bottle too.
That profile reminds me a lot of some of the older like older Glen Grant profiles that we've had
Hmm.
that comes very malty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also very naked, very spirit driven.
I really like
Um,
that.
it's kissed by oak, but I think, lovely. David's saying orange candy. Yeah, there's even like a
Yeah.
little bit of a creamsicle note to it on the palate and the finish. But to me, it's waxy, it's tropical and floral and just very pretty, very drinkable. And what's the ABV on that one? 49.8. It's a good drinking strength too. Glenburgie seems a bit muted. It's very pretty still, but it seems quite a bit muted compared to the Glen Keith even. It's thicker, there's
Mhm.
more weight to it, but it's not jumping out of the glass.
It smells like an old pencil.
Mm. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because you know what it reminds me of? Before I was diagnosed with ADD as a kid, you know that strip that would hold pads of paper together, that like waxy strip?
Mm-hmm.
I would often peel that off and just like kind of chew on it because I was bored. I don't know why,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just something to do. And it reminds
Mm-hmm.
me a little bit of that waxy strip on like foolscap paper,
Cool.
pads of paper.
I hope you've broken that habit.
Yeah, I've got pharmaceuticals now, so I've hard broken that habit. It's
Great.
all behind me now. Pharmaceuticals and caffeine. The
Mm.
caffeine was the self-medicating before the actual medicating. But yeah, the habit has been broken.
Baby
So,
steps.
yeah, just adopted more acceptable socially habits. So, like prescription drugs, you know. But anyway, um, blended
Chris says
malt.
when he played right field, he used to chew on the laces of his glove. I don't know if that's a tasty note or just a share, like a comfort share.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like when you're like a little guy or a little girl and you have your little blanket and you like suck on a corner of it or something.
oh, my friend's cat does that.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's okay. I mean, like this is a safe space. We're not going to make fun of people, you know.
In the chats. That's where you do it. Um, are you on this blended malt yet? Because it smells great.
Yeah, the blended malt, chocolate milk,
Mm-hmm.
smoke. It's more and more like our cask now than it was before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the smoke is like toned down quite a bit. It's still there, but really cool, really different.
Hmm.
Mm.
I love the way it hits the sides of
Okay.
your tongue.
I
Some
know you
nice
see it.
flavors there. A little bit old school. Nice chocolate, nice sherry. The smoke and the salt are surprisingly prominent there. Like they're
Hmm.
bigger than I would have thought, but yeah.
The smoke it's still like a touch ashy, but it's like
Hmm.
approachable.
It's very drinkable.
Mhm.
That's a contender. It's a contender for me. All right, Sutherland, the um, Clynelish that cannot be called Clynelish.
Right.
Still like honeyed, waxy, farmy, malty, kind of nice citrus fruit.
Hmm. I like a little bit of grape notes in here.
Grape nuts,
Grape note,
grape
grape,
nut.
like
Okay.
purple grape.
Palate's quite lively on that. More honey, like well, more like kind of beeswax, floral tones, and a little malty, a little farmy too, which
Mm.
is kind of fun. Was not expecting that. So that might be a contender. I
I
don't know. I'm
see.
not leaning hard on that one, but it's in there. It's showing well. Okay. Glentauchers. The Glentauchers seems a little bit better behaved than it was right at the start. Like it's restraining, it's sitting down. It doesn't want to sit down, but it's sitting down and it's trying to listen.
It's like you before medication in school.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're
Oh,
like, I'm gonna sit here, but
medication.
I'm gonna chew this rubber
The
strip off this
medication was
hand.
all after school, Harmony.
Oh yeah, it
It
was
didn't arrive in
recently.
time.
Yeah. Um, this Glentauchers smells fantastic. It's so fruity.
The palate is too. Lots of wine gum notes,
Hmm.
orange peel, spice, leather. I mean, there's a lot going on there. It's a big dram. Like there's a, we haven't talked about this a lot, but unlike the Chichibu, this is an example of something that Chivas Brothers was doing, Chivas Pernod Ricard, through the 2010s and into the 2020s, which is filling casks at still strength as opposed to at 63 and a half, which is the industry standard. That's the reason why it's above that. And the reason they were doing this was simply to save money on wood. Um, Now, Ollie at Elixir Distillers would say they should have proofed this down at some point because it's too big. It would have matured better in the cask, but I think it still turned out pretty good. But yeah, the ABV on this is something else. Like this is a
Mm.
big, big dram.
Well, there are people who would look for this, so there's whiskeys for everyone.
Well, anyone looking for our Tobermory, our long since sold out Barry's Tobermory, but willing to put up with something that does not have any traces of Lecheg, I think would like this.
Like, what's the point? But
I think there's a good point. All right,
yeah.
on to the Chichibu, which I think is nosing even better now than it did the first time around.
Mm.
There's something that reminds me of like old Armagnac on the nose.
Is it that grape note?
Yeah, it's a little grapey. It's kind of that, leather sofa, cigar lounge,
Yeah.
glass of Armagnac note.
Old army socks? That's a question. Is anyone else getting old army socks? Because
I
Chris
I did
did.
did not say old army socks. Safe
I
to
like
say I've never worn or experienced old army socks.
neither.
Yeah, thankfully.
Feel like they would smell extra sad.
Yeah, I mean, when you say old army socks, you have me thinking trench foot. And I'm pretty
Oh,
sure we would
really
try
sad.
really hard not to put anything in a tasting that smelled like trench foot. Not that I even know what it smells like because I
I was
don't want to
gonna
know what it
say,
smells like.
I was waiting for you to say, like, unless it's LeChuck.
Well, I mean, without knowing, that's probably the
Mm.
closest we can get, right?
Mm.
Sweaty. I mean, we probably shouldn't elaborate on this too much,
Yeah, let's go
but
back to the wine cask. It
yeah.
smells like wine. I added a lot of water,
Yeah.
maybe too much. Um, but I like the nose. It smells like dark fruits, chocolate, and tobacco leaf.
Lots of like dark berry fruits, blackberry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, it's on the
Big
tip of my
blackberry.
my nose. I can't get to it now, but like powdered spice. There's even like a sandalwood, like a singed sandalwood note to it too.
That's that Mizunara oak.
Well, except there was no Miznar. There was no Miznar on this one. So,
You said they use Mizunara
oh,
washbacks.
yeah, but I don't know if you would get that coming through in
How do
the.
you know? It's the most important step.
Don't use my words against me.
Phil just dropped the mic. um, I mean, it could be. Who knows?
Yeah, really dark berry fruits on there, licorice. It's very jammy.
It
I don't
is.
get any sulfur tones, so I know Chris said he got it. Now he gets sulfur. I don't get any sulfur on this. It is meaty, and that meatiness has gotten better. It's moved into like
Mm.
more like a Wagyu beef meatiness than like kind of an earthy, mushroomy meatiness that it had the first time around. It's actually quite
Mhm.
pleasant. Or like
Mhm.
an elk meatiness with a bit of a like a blueberry compote like reduction.
Interesting. Wow. I added like 7 or 8 drops of water and it's very fruity. Like it's lots of blackberries and blueberries and chocolate. And it reminds me a little bit of those little chocolate acai and blueberry things that we reference from time to time.
You know what? I'm thinking this is not changing much because like I'm just getting dark berry fruits. Like that's what's really driving the
Hmm.
palate for me on this.
Hmm.
I actually quite like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't like the price, but yeah.
Ooh, I like that note, Austin. So lots of winey cardamom and bay leaf. And I can get that. I get that.
I only know of bay leaf because it's a way to ward off weevils in your pantry.
Oh, I put it in my soup yesterday.
I
So
believe it's like an old wives' tale thing, but my wife swears
mm,
by it.
I'm
There
using
was
it wrong.
there was a time in our old home when Chloe went to get a bowl of cereal and she's like, "Oh my God, it's moving." I'm like, "No, it's not. You're making it up." The weevils got into the breakfast cereal. So
What?
we put
That's
we put bay leaves
protein.
down and we froze. Oh yeah, when you get flour, when you take flour home, put it in the freezer. That's how you kill off the weevils. But anyway, we haven't had weevils since.
Mm.
But I mean, she was probably getting more protein from her breakfast cereal
I
than
was
she
gonna
was
say,
previously. So I don't know. I don't understand why it's a big deal.
I don't know. I don't think it affected her. She's quite a tall broad, so
Yeah, she's done
she grew
okay. She
well.
looks healthy. So
Yeah, she's healthy.
um undisclosed Isla. Not
Yes,
getting any weevils
please.
on this one.
Nope. It's less Kalila this round than it was the first round.
Though I am getting a little bit of Kellogg's Vector cereal on the nose before you add the milk. Not with milk, before you add the milk.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of like a malty note to it.
It is very malty. Oh, it just smells like
Wow.
camping. Like
It's
campfire that's being rained on. That's all I get.
it's 100% Lafroig to me on the palate now. Or I don't know. Yeah, Carmody, I would buy the campfire getting rained on if
Yeah.
you were burning electronics and like
Oh,
other household waste while having a bonfire. Then yes, it's like a bonfire. But it's kind of a dirty bonfire.
sounds sad. Why are you burning electronics? Um,
Well, I'm not saying I
it
would.
sounds like we should do a Lefroy tasting so I can really nail down this
Hmm.
character distillate.
All right, that's a deal. I'm sure we can make that happen in the not too distant
We
future.
should.
All right, so do we have a poll? Yes. Are there three questions? Also, yes.
Someone
So,
on our camera roll is getting extra sultry with their last dram. It just really zoomed in on him.
all right,
Sorry.
Evan has oh,
Ooh, three questions.
they've got it on adaptive mode, I think, is like so the webcam will zoom in and
Oh,
zoom
that's
out at
fun.
times. Evan was
Let's see
doing,
if
sorry,
I was gonna say, let's see if Evan redeems himself with his
I think
third
he did.
question.
I didn't look at them all in detail yet because I like to experience it in the moment.
As
But
do I.
the last tasting he hosted with me, Carmody, he had his camera set on auto zoom and it was like zooming in and out on his face. And I felt like I was in some sort of, I don't know, 30 somethings influencer video feed because
Well,
like they just kept like changing the perspective on me and I was not
did you
enjoying it.
tell him that? Because he
And I
would
told him
love
to
to
stop it. I
know
told him
that.
to stop it. Cut it out.
He would love to know that he had that effect on you.
Oh, he knows. He knows.
All right, question one, first favorite, second favorite. What is the third question?
It's about the wine cask. P about Pinot Noir wine casks, no less. All right, Harmony. I'm going to
Yo.
put you on the spot. Have you picked your three favorites?
No.
Why not?
Okay. Okay. I'm locking in. Final answer.
Okay.
The undisclosed Isla.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. I wasn't confused once, other than what side of the island I might be on.
Okay.
Um, Surprisingly to me, the Glentauchers really came around.
Yeah, I can tell you like that one.
I really did. And honestly, I tried it a couple times at work, but it just wasn't doing anything for me. And I know it's not the whiskey when my palate doesn't work. So I'm happy to like have the time to just sit and get to know it because I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If I had a third,
Well, yeah, you
based
get a
on
third because
volume,
we're the hosts, Harmony. We get three. That's
yeah.
one of the perks.
Oh, God. I don't know if I can pick three.
Oh,
Uh,
I still
Two?
don't think you've picked the best two in the lineup yet.
That's okay. We can be different.
We
Glenburgie
can. You going
is
which?
Glenburgie, I think,
Oh,
is fantastic and still noses quite nicely.
I it does. You know what? I love that um you've got two of them different from my three favorites there. So
Andrew, we are individual.
we are individual, it's true. Um I'm gonna
What do
go,
you like?
you know what? I'm gonna go Glen Keith for my favorite tonight. And the reason it's my favorite is I think it's best bang for buck. It's the most drinkable. Like it's the one that I could sit down and possibly polish off with the right group of friends in an evening. Whether I regret it or not the next morning doesn't matter.
Right,
Uh,
a scenario problem.
yeah.
Yeah,
Second favorite, I'm gonna go blended malt. I
cool.
love that profile. It's not as good as our cask, but it's pretty good.
Yeah,
And I digged it. I dig it.
I knew you would.
And third favorite, I'm gonna go undisclosed Islay. We don't see a lot of 18-year-old Islay whiskeys, let alone 18-year-old Lafroig. I think it's a decent price,
Hmm.
good quality. There's only 7 or 8 bottles of it left. Um, yeah, those are my favorites. Glen
I
Keith,
almost picked Glen
blended
Keith
malt,
as well.
Islay.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. What do the polls say?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. We'll bring it up. Two of you have not voted, so
Too
we'll
good.
give this your warning. You have 1 minute to vote if you've not done so yet, and then we're going to call it. While we're doing that, I will maybe preview. All of you know it. Evan's third question, his cheeky question: which was better after having spent time in New Zealand Pinot Noir casks? And then his answers are Barry's Exceptional Cask, Chichibu, Ardbeg Black, the new expletive New Zealand Pinot Noir. Seriously, what is up with these wine cask finishes? Don't gotta say I agree with that. Whiskey should only be matured in ex-bourbon barrels. Oh, and sherry casks, and maybe occasional sauternes, barriques. Actually, STR casks can be pretty good too. Perhaps port casks too, and ex-rum barrels, but no expletive Pinot Noir casks. So we'll see which one wins there. But one more of you has voted, so we're gonna call it favorite whiskey of the night, the Barry's Undisclosed Islay Harmony. So you're in good company there. Second favorite is the blended malt. And then it looks like the exceptional cast Chichibu is number three. And then
Cool.
everybody else gets a vote, which is nice.
Cool.
Yeah, no participation ribbons this time around. Second favorite, the blended malt storms to the front,
Yeah.
followed by the Glentauchers, and
Mhm.
then Glenburgie, exceptional, undisclosed Isla, and then the Glen Keith and the Sutherland get single votes. So no one got left out on either round of the voting. That's pretty good. We don't
One
see
gets
that
a
very often.
ribbon. That's great.
And then answering Evan's question, which was best after having spent time in Pinot Noir casks? The answer here, I have to be, I have to say, I'm not surprised. Was whiskey should only be matured in anything but expletive Pinot Noir casks, to paraphrase. Although the berries
Which is
Chichibu
funny
did pretty
because
well.
I think it's great because I think only the four people who voted that they liked the Chichibu were the four people that didn't click the never Pinot Noir, which
Hmm.
is how it should be. You should
Well, they got to
be able to
justify their
come to a
votes.
tasting, take our harassment, but still like what you like.
So
So,
I suppose I would have to say that um, given this whiskey, I can't say never Pinot Noir. So of that list, I think I would have had to have voted with uh, the berries. Uh, Chichibu was the best showing of the bunch, but there's probably a good reason why we don't see a lot of New Zealand Pinot Noir cask maturing whiskey, and it's because it's a long way from New Zealand to anywhere you want to mature whiskey in a New Zealand Pinot Noir cask. So unless you're putting it on an overnight flight, it's probably not going to be in good shape by the time it gets to the destination. But anyway, Harmony, fun
unless it's
range
true.
tonight. Thank you for co-hosting. Thank
Fun
you everyone for
range,
tuning
Andrew.
in to tonight's tasting. Um, Hope you enjoyed it. I think this was a great little range. It was a fun one. The lost and found tasting. I'd love to say we'll do this again, but it depends on what we're offered. So we may. You never say never. Um, if you haven't got a kit for that Cairn tasting, I'm not kidding. You'll probably regret it. So you want to check that one out. But
Yes,
have a great night,
you
everybody.
will.
Thanks for the comments in the chat. Wish I could keep up on all of them, but we'll talk again soon. So have a good night.
Good night,